Lose our quorum?
Probably.
Hold on, let me go find
All right, let's get the next segment underway here. The Joint Government Operations Committee Rule Review Meeting is called to order. The agenda is dated January the 26th of 2026. Clerk, please take the roll.
Senators Bowling, Crow. Senator Crow is present. Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher is present. Senator Kyle, Senator Oliver, Senator Rose. Here. Senator Rose is present. Senator Seal. Senator Seal is present. Senator Sutherland. Here. Senator Sutherland is present. Chairman Jackson. Here. Chairman Jackson is present. You have 6 members in the Senate. Representatives Clemens, Crawford. Here. Crawford is present. Faison. Fritz. Here. Fritz is present. Glenn. Here. Glenn is present. Hardaway. Haynes. Here. Haynes is present. Mayberry. Here. Mayberry is present. McKenzie. Here. McKenzie is present. Parkinson. Here. Parkinson's present. Reedy. Here. Reedy's present. Renault. Rudder. Rudder is present. Cheryl. Here. Cheryl is present. Towns. Here. Towns is present. Chairman Lafferty. Chairman Lafferty is present. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum in both chambers.
All right, thank you for that. Members, before we begin with business, are there any personal orders or announcements? All right, I don't do this often, but I'm going to take personal privilege and do this today since we won't be here on Monday. My daughter on Tuesday, Miss Madison Lafferty, is going to receive her white coat in a white coat ceremony at the University of Tennessee, Chattanooga. And I'm just a proud papa, so I just wanted to share that with everybody. Thank you, guys. That was really sweet of y'all. Thank you. All right. So no other comments or orders. All right. Please note there is the public comment sign-up sheet up front. If a member of the public wishes to speak, please make your way to the table up front and go ahead and sign up. Otherwise, let's get started. Department item number 1, the Department of Disability and Aging. If you would, please make your way down. And I'm going to change things up while you guys are coming down. I mean, please make yourself at home. Item number 2, we've got underground storage tanks. If you guys wouldn't mind, come on down to the front row, be ready to go. We'll see if we can't shave 10 or 15 minutes off of this meeting today, if you guys will help me out. I know the committee would appreciate it, so thank you all. When you are ready, you know how the routine works. If you would, introduce yourself, who you're with, and please begin.
Thank you, sir. My name is Seth Wilson. I'm a senior associate counsel for the Department of Disability and Aging. I'm here with Alicia Horn, Deputy Director of Quality Management for DDA, and Trey Jones, the Legislative Director. We're here today on our Tier 1 Homes for the Aged rules. Public Chapter 984 amended TCA 6811-201 to define Tier 1 and Tier 2 homes for the aged, and thereafter Tier 1 homes for the aged were to be licensed by DDA. So these rules were promulgated to allow the department to meet its statutory obligations under Public Chapter 984 to provide the requirements and minimum standards as may be prescribed by rule. And we had an emergency rule filed on August 22nd, went before this committee on October 15th, where that was approved. And we had our rulemaking hearing in October as well. And we'll take any questions. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that. Members, do we have any questions for the Department of Disability and Aging? Seeing none. Are there any public comments? Not seeing anybody moving. That was pretty simple. Do I have a motion for a positive recommendation? We have a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please take the roll in the Senate.
Senators Bowling, Crow votes aye. Hatcher votes aye. Kyle votes aye. Oliver, Rose votes aye. Seal votes aye. Sutherland votes aye. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 7 ayes.
Thank you, sir. Senator Rose, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted a quick explanation while Senator Bowling is here. Our Senate colleagues know that, but she is, they're having the interment of her sister today, passed away a few days ago. So that's the reason she's not here. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No, thank you. I had heard that. I wasn't sure that her family wanted it made public, but thank you. And just everybody, please keep your prayers with Senator Bowling today and her family. Thank you. Let's take next up. We got a vote in the House. All those in favor of the positive recommendation indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. You guys move out for a positive recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Next up, item number 2, underground storage tanks and solid waste disposal board. If you guys could come on down when you are ready. You are recognized. Introduce yourself to the committee and tell us who you're with for the record.
Thank you, Chairman. My name
Next
is.
group is the Board of Funeral Directors. If you'd make your way up, please. I'm sorry.
Sorry,
Please go ahead.
Chairman. Thank you. My name is Allie Williamson. I'm the Legislative Director for Department of Environment and Conservation. With me today is Jeremy Hooper. He is our Senior Advisor for our Bureau of Environment. The Department of Environment and Conservation is proposing a voluntary rule to allow safe reuse of less contaminated soil from brownfield VOAP sites. That's our Voluntary Cleanup Oversight and Assistance Program, reducing unnecessary landfill disposal while protecting public health. The rule exempts certain soils from solid waste regulations if managed properly, prohibits reuse of soil containing PCBs or hazardous waste, and establishes 2 categories. Category 1 soil, which meets background or EPA screening levels and may be reused without restrictions, and Category 2 soil, which requires characterization and commissioner approval before reuse. The rule applies to developers and others involved in VOAP projects and received only supportive comments, and allows recovery of existing oversight costs. Excuse me. So the program remains funded by applicants rather than the taxpayers. Happy to answer questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Representative Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for this today. Just under the fiscal impact, did I see a $2,500 per site?
You're recognized, sir.
Jeremy Hooper, advisor with TDEC. Yes, sir, you did, but it's a same fee that is required for the VOAP program, so it's not a new fee.
You're recognized.
Thank you very much. I understand no additional fees in the rule that you're adding.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Any other questions? Seeing none. With that, members, could I get a recommendation? Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to ask about public comment. Do we have anybody here for public comment? All right, seeing none. We have a motion for positive recommendation and we have a second. Mr. Clerk, if you would please take the vote in the Senate.
Senators Bowling, Crow votes aye. Hatcher votes aye. Kyle. Oliver. Senator Kyle. Kyle votes aye. Rose votes aye. Seal votes aye. Sutherland votes aye. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 7 ayes in the Senate.
Thank you for that. And all those in favor of positive recommendation in the House, please indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you all for being here today. Next up, we've got the Board of Funeral Directors and Embalmers. If you would make your way down. Following that, we have the Firefighter Personnel Standards and Education Commission. If you guys could go ahead and jump into the queue, I sure would appreciate it. I'm trying to make this weekend as long as we possibly can. Come on down. All right, gentlemen, when you are ready, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Reed Witcher, Assistant Commissioner for Regulatory Boards at the Department of Commerce and Insurance. I'm joined by Robert Gribble, Executive Director for the board. The rules that are before you today are pursuant to the department's retrospective rule review. They are clerical in nature. The board held a rulemaking hearing with the opportunity for public comment on June 10th, 2025. No public comments were received. With that, happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you for that. That's nice and neat. Members, do we have any questions? Seeing none. Any public comment? Seeing none. All right, members, thank you. We have motion for positive recommendation. We got a second. Clerk, please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling, Crow. Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Senator Sutherland votes aye. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 6 ayes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. Members in the House, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you all for being here today. Next up, Firefighter Personnel Standards and Education Commission. Following the commission, we've got the Department of Commerce and Insurance. Oh, wonderful. Chairman Bell, you are recognized when you're ready, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the committee members. I appreciate being here today. And my name is Mike Bell, Assistant Commissioner of Fire Prevention for Commerce and Insurance. The commission presents this rule to fix a clerical mistake referencing the NFPA standard for fire inspectors erroneously as the 2023 edition. And this rule updates the proper reference to the NFPA standard as the 2024 edition. And that is all it does, is change the date and correct a clerical error.
All right, thank you very much for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Seeing none, do we have any public comment, please? Seeing none, we already have a motion and a second. All right, Mr. Clerk, please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crow, Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Senator Sutherland votes aye. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 6 ayes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. And members to the House, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Next up, Commerce and Insurance. Recognize a lot of these faces. Please, whoever's going to lead this, go ahead and introduce yourself, and you know how it works.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, my name is Mike Bell, Assistant Commissioner of Commerce and Insurance over Fire Prevention. And with me, I have Director Jim Hightower, who is the Director of our Manufactured Home Division. The Department of Commerce and Insurance Manufactured Housing Section acts as a state administrative agency to enforce federal standards related to manufactured homes in lieu of the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development enforcing those standards in Tennessee. These rules update what are currently 3 separate chapters or rules and combine them into one chapter to create a more concise set of rules to provide more clarity to licensees. And these rules increase the civil penalties from increase. Right now, it's a mandatory $500 for a civil penalty. And this rule allows us the discretion to go anywhere from $0 to $1,100 for civil penalties for manufacturers, retailers, or installers who conduct businesses without the proper license. Similarly, failure to respond to a consumer complaint will result in a $500 civil penalty. These rules amend the list of acceptable course topics to provide a broader list referred in federal and state regulations. This update will allow for more flexibility for course providers when choosing topics to cover, and will broaden the standards applicable to manufactured housing. These rules repeal the recreational vehicle and park trailer provisions, which are no longer under the department's jurisdiction. And these rules increase the fee from $50 to $100 for a second or subsequent reinspection for the removal of a red tag. So a red tag is given, Mr. Chairman and committee members, when there is when a manufactured home is, in fact, Mr. Chairman, if I could let me refer to Director Hightower to explain when a red tag is given.
Good morning. Yes, a red tag is issued when we find a HUD labeled home that has a violation on it, which a HUD labeled home means it's already went through the facility. It's had the label put on it to be compliant through the QA process within that facility. If we go out and do retail lot inspections, which we will do, and we find a non-compliance, then the home will be red tagged. Once it's red tagged, it cannot be sold, nor can it be shown until the violations are corrected.
And so again, this increases it from $50 to $100 when there is a red tag violation. But the first inspection, reinspection will continue to be provided at no charge. These rules clarify when installation must be reported and when an installation is complete and when an installation decal can be placed. The update will also assist the department in tracking each decal sold and when the decal is submitted on an installation report. Lastly, these rules will establish expectations for communication of consumer complaints and details the consequences for failing to communicate timely with the department. The civil penalties is currently listed under the department's current authority, but will be included within this rule for additional clarity. And a rulemaking hearing was heard on July 9th. One public comment was made by the executive director of the Tennessee Housing Association, overall expressing support for the changes while also requesting license fees be increased. A copy of the used manufactured home form be provided, and that the division might be mindful of licensing and continuing education course timelines when settling the effective date on these rules. Mr. Chairman, that's an explanation of the rules, and we're open to taking any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Representative Glenn, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here. A quick question. How often is someone violating these licensures rules? How frequent is it?
Yep, Director Hightower.
You're recognized.
Thank you. I would say probably on average of 3 to 5 times a month, we'll have licensure violations.
You're recognized, sir.
From different companies or the same person?
Different companies.
Follow up, please.
And then do they continue to violate the rule, or do they normally fix it and you don't have to find them again?
Yes, sir. That is correct. They generally fix it, and like I said, most of the time we don't have the problem again.
Okay, and I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you go ahead, please.
And the reason I asked, I was just wondering, like, the civil penalty seems kind of low for a home seller. I'm not trying to say take all their money, but seeing to me someone selling a house, if I'm only fined $500 when I'm going to make 25 to 30 on a sale, just seems like an awful low fine for violations like that. So I was just curious to why they're so low, but I got you.
Thanks for those questions. Representative Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all for your time. My questions are in alignment somewhat with my colleague from Middle Tennessee. 2 questions. How much does the department receive in those fines on an annual basis, and why the increase?
The total amount in fines, we're going to have to get back with you, Representative Fritz.
Okay.
We do not have that figure with us.
Okay.
And Representative Fritz, I would mention that, we operate this program in lieu of the feds doing it. So if the state of Tennessee threw their arms up and said, we don't want to do this anymore, the HUD fines are $4,000. We are substantially below. If we threw our arms up and said, we're not going to do it, if the feds would come in there and regulate at that point, we are substantially below those. And I will also add that, again, this gives us discretion. Before, it was a mandatory $500. And now we're able to look at that retailer or installer. What's their history? Are they a bad actor? They have a history of a bad actor. Then we may fine them the full amount. But if this is a one-time slip up, we look at that, and we not only look at it in this division, but other divisions as well, based on, are we dealing with somebody who's a bad actor?
You're recognized.
Just one follow-up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So what I understand from that is we're not necessarily just trying to raise the fine. You're not doing that for revenue source for the department. That's already funded. You're giving yourself the flexibility, is what I'm understanding.
We're
to be
giving
able to
ourselves some discretion.
Let me finish.
I'm sorry.
To be
I'm
able
sorry.
to increase the fine if necessary, if you do find a bad actor.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Members, any other questions? Just off the cuff curiosity, maybe you can answer this. With the talk all over the country about affordable housing, has the federal government done anything to ease those regulations, or is there even any area that they could do that and still maintain the safety and protection of the public?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to defer. This is a subject we've discussed a number of times at the department. I'm going to defer to Director Hightower.
Okay, thank you.
I do know there's federal legislation, excuse me, at this time that's working through, and the Manufactured Housing Consensus Committee is another committee that's working on trying to find options for affordable housing, things that can be changed. So it is at the forefront of HUD's agenda at this moment. And of course, like I said, that will be rolled out to the states as they approve things and pass things.
Okay, thank you. Again, not germane to the rules today, but just curiosity. Members, any other questions? Seeing none, any public comment? Seeing none, we have motion for positive recommendation. We got a second. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crow, Senator Hatcher. Aye. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Aye. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver, Senator Rose. Aye. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Aye. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Aye. Senator Sutherland votes aye. Chairman Jackson.
Aye.
Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 6 ayes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. And members to the House, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with a positive recommendation. Thank you all for being here today.
Thank you, Mr.
Next up, we've got the Department of Human Services. You're recognized when you're ready.
Thank you. Now that it's 12:02, good afternoon, Chairman and members. I'm Callan Baggett, Assistant Commissioner with the Department of Human Services. I'm joined by Paige Foster and Paul Helton with the department as well. We are here before you on our child care rule amendments. If you will recall, we were before this committee in November on the majority of those child care rule amendments. The .06 section before you was originally filed as a rulemaking hearing on March 25th of last year, and rulemaking hearings were held on March 16th of last year in Nashville in person and virtually statewide with members from both the Licensing Standards Committee and the public in attendance. Rulemaking comments were received, and as a result, changes were made to the rules before the final rules were sent to the Attorney General's office for review and approval. These rules were then filed as final rulemaking hearing rules on August 22nd of last year and were slated to become effective November 20th of last year. And then the Secretary of State's office found a typographical error in one citation in the rules in .06, and that is why they are now here before you, because we had to withdraw them and bring them forward after consultation with the committee. So thank you for reviewing these rules a few times. So the rules make the following changes: adding a requirement that the child care director be on site for 50% of the agency's monthly operating hours, with exceptions for the following: reasonable time away for a leave of absence, professional development, or community engagement. The requirement does not apply to licensed drop-in child care centers, and those exceptions were added based off of public comment that we received in our hearings. Modifying the requirement that the primary educator ensure that no person who has a mental, physical, or emotional condition that poses a risk to children or exhibits any evidence suggestive of illegal or inappropriate drug, alcohol use, or possession shall have any access to children, to a requirement that the primary educator ensuring that the staff person is physically, mentally, and emotionally capable of safely and appropriately providing care for children. Removing the word unsupervised before the word children as regards to new employees, so that the requirement that new employees have orientation in certain topics applies before such employees have any contact with children, not just unsupervised contact. Adding the word child maltreatment after the terms shaken baby and abusive head trauma everywhere those terms appear in regards to that training to reflect. Adding a requirement that child care agencies document and report as requested substitute staff hours. We did receive some public comment on that, but did not change the rule, as it just provided clarification. Replacing the education and pre-licensure training chart with a new chart to make the following changes. In Chart A, before contact with children requirements, we removed the requirement for the Small Business Academy attendance, adding the term child maltreatment to the training for shaken baby abusive head trauma, and to the licensing rules and regulations training also added building and premises safety training. In Chart B, the training chart for the provisional licensure period, we added the Small Business Academy attendance requirement and clarified that the first aid training must be completed within 90 days of employment to align with federal requirements. And finally, in Chart C, the training chart for the first year and ongoing training requirements, we added a requirement that substitutes at centers must be trained in health and safety requirements for at least 4 total hours. With that explanation, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you for that. Representative Glenn, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here. Question number 1, is this strictly for brick and mortar childcare centers, or is this in-home centers as well?
It applies, the rules are applied to, unless it's specifically stated, they apply to any licensed childcare in DHS. So that would include in-home or a commercial, because all technically are brick and mortar, but there's, childcare centers versus childcare agencies.
Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any other questions? Seeing none, do we have any comment from the public? Seeing none. We have a motion and a second for a positive recommendation. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crow, Senator Hatcher.
Aye.
Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 5 ayes.
Thank you, sir. On to the House. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you all for being here today. Next up, item number 7 on our agenda. Thank you for being so prompt. You are recognized. And yes, you're recognized. Please.
Thank you, Committee Chairman. My name is Tess Stovall. I am the Executive Director of the Tennessee Public Charter School Commission. Before you today, we have a permanent rule on charter school replication applications. So during the 2025 legislative session, the General Assembly passed Public Chapter 275, which in part added additional pathways for charter school sponsors. One of those was to be able to apply for replication directly to the Charter Commission. The allowance is for a charter school sponsor who has at least one school open for 1 calendar year under the commission to apply within the same geographic district under the commission. So this rule governs the commission's process in receipt of a replication application. The rule mirrors the current New Start application process for charter schools, which is outlined both in statute as well as in State Board of Education rule. It includes key components of the commission's appeal process, including a capacity interview with the school governing board, as well as a public hearing within the local district, which allows for public comment. This proposed permanent rule is the same as a current emergency rule, which was approved by this committee in last October. We held a rulemaking hearing on this rule on October the 1st of 2025 to receive public comment, and we received no public comment on this rule. And I'm happy to take further questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? I saw, all right, Chairman Clemens, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just to refresh my recollection of this, so if a charter school already has one school open within an LEA's jurisdiction, just because they're replicating that school, they can go directly to the state commission to review a denial. Is that correct?
So in order to replicate directly with the commission, you have to already be authorized by the commission. So a school that's not currently authorized by the commission cannot apply directly to the charter commission. They have to go first to the local board of education and then ultimately can come to the commission on appeal.
And so how do they get that? What does that process look like to get that?
The appeal process or the replication process?
The replication process.
Sure.
You said if they're already on, I can't remember the word you used, with the state commission. What was the word?
Authorized by the commission.
Okay, so how did they get authorized? By having the first charter school?
So the commission, prior to the statute being passed, could authorize a school either upon New Start appeal. So we have schools that came to us via the local board of education. They were denied appeal to the commission and the commission approved. Secondly, we do have schools that achieved a certain exit criteria from the achievement school district. So they were approved to come under the commission. And then lastly, there is the renewal appeal process. So if in a renewal appeal, they come to the commission, they can get approved by the commission. So there are schools under us have come through a variety of different avenues.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So my concern is that LEA determines that the market's saturated, for lack of a better term, and the resources aren't there. They can go directly, in some instances, to the state commission, who can then overturn the LEA without regard to what the LEA's opinion on that matter is. Is that correct?
That is correct. So if a school is currently operating in the commission, they can apply directly to the commission and go through the commission's process.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And Representative Parkinson, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to use my teacher voice because my mic is not on.
Oh, here we go. It's coming.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Sorry.
No problem. I'm used to it, Mr. Chair. So thank you, first of all, for being here. In the rules that we're creating, what does it say about academic progress?
So currently in the rules, statute says, so it mirrors statute, that you have to be in operation for 1 year before you can apply for replication. The application is then evaluated against the state scoring rubric, which would include an evaluation of the past performance and kind of the evaluation of the operator's performance. So that is not contained within the rule itself, but is contained within the application rubric, which they're evaluated against.
You're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think I have more clarity. So basically what we're approving is the rules by which you can apply after after operating 1 year.
Correct.
And inside the application, there is some judging criteria that has academic
Correct.
performance in it.
That is absolutely correct.
Okay, do you know what that judging criteria is for the academic
I
performance?
don't off the top of my head. The application and the rubric is created by the State Board of Education. It's publicly available. I also want to make sure it's clear that that application is rubric is used by all districts. It's the same application. So there are lots of criteria. We can follow up and make sure you have it.
Okay, and just quick follow-up, Mr.
Yes,
Chair. And so, you know, I just want to be clear, and I think the two people that are watching online, they want to be clear on it also. that this application to for replication is only available for those schools that are already operating under the Charter Commission. Or am I incorrect with that?
So these rules govern the commission's process.
Okay.
Under replication. There is also an avenue that if a school is not authorized by the commission, but they want to replicate their current academic focus, they can still apply for replication under the local board of education using the replication application and go to their local board. They are just not eligible to apply directly to the commission because they're not currently authorized by the commission.
Just one more.
Okay,
And
please.
thank you for that.
Yeah.
That brings up another question. What was stopping them from applying for replication before? I mean, you know, why do we need even legislation for them to apply for replication?
Sure. So the statute creates a streamlined replication application that really focuses on you're already approved for an academic model so that we don't have to repeat the kind of the academic model. We're saying you've approved for this academic focus and you want to replicate it. So it's much more streamlined, the application, in terms of how are you ready to, and if you are ready to open another school in the same focus.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Representative McKenzie, you recognize, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of quick questions. And the first being, in terms of the replication, can they go for a third replication after the second year? They year one, they pass whatever rubric. Can that, at the end of that year, that next year, can they go for a third and a fourth?
So want to make sure I'm understanding. So if they're currently in operation, they apply to replicate and open a second school. After a year or two, can they apply to replicate another school? The answer is yes, there's no statutory limit in replication.
You recognize.
Okay, that sounds problematic. But then also, is there anything to my chairman's point in the rubric? You talked about it having academic standards, and those standards. Is there anything within that rubric that talks about saturation within a community or within the LEA's geographic boundary?
So one of the key parts of all applications, replication as well as New Start, is going to ask a school proposing to locate in the area enrollment projections, community demand. What are the schools currently around it? What are the enrollment trends currently around where they're proposing? What are the other schools in that area? So that upon receipt and evaluation of the application, the authorizer, whoever that is, can evaluate, is there sufficient demand? in that area for the proposed school to meet the enrollment projections.
Thank you. Well, since he still has my mic on, probably busy. Can I?
Give us
can I-
just 1 minute.
Okay, so while you're doing that,
Yeah.
so quickly then, you talked about some of the criterion. Is the public schools performance evaluated at each turn? And by that, I mean, if they're operating in my district, let's pick East Knoxville, they're operating, they have a charter school in East Knoxville, there's a demand, they get one the second year, but the public schools grades are increasing, getting better, there's improvement within that public school. Are those things taken into account in terms of, if nothing else, their value in that community may be diminishing because the public schools are giving them what they need, just in the theoretical model?
Sure. So within the application itself, and then in the rubric, it's going to ask the applicant to describe the area it wants to be located in, both the enrollment and the academic performance of the schools in that area, such that, again, the person or the team who's reviewing the application can take that into consideration. It's not a checkbox or anything like that, but that is a part of the review of the application and the scoring of the application.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Members, do we have any other questions from the committee? No further questions from the committee. Do we have any public comment? Seeing no public comment, we have a motion for a positive recommendation. Do we have a second? We do have a second. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote in the Senate.
Senators Bowling, Crow, Hatcher. No. Hatcher votes no. Kyle. No. Kyle votes no. Oliver. Rose. Aye. Rose votes aye. Seal. No. Seal votes no. Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Aye. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 2 ayes and 3 noes.
Thank you for that.
That goes out with a negative recommendation from the Senate.
All right, members, so that will go out with a negative recommendation from the Senate. We will move over to the House. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? No. I believe I got the call as the noes have it. The rules going out with a negative recommendation. Let's just 1 second before you go anywhere. Let's get an explanation from legal about what this means and how this will work going forward. And you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doug Garrett with legal. So this rule was filed in 2025. It was disapproved here by both houses. And so the action of this committee will be reflected in the 2026 rule omnibus bill that is passed this year, whereby the rule will be removed or disapproved, and it will not be continued. So that's the effect of the recommendation today. That action and that recommendation to the General Assembly as a whole, that vote will be taken up in the respective full committees, and then again on each floor of each house. So it'll be disapproved.
Thank you for that explanation. We've been going at this now for about 2 hours. I'm reading my clock right. Let's take a 5-minute break. There is pizza in the back. 5-minute break. And let's keep this thing moving as best we can. Thank you. We'll adjourn for just a few.
Please come back.
Members, please be sure to make it back here as soon after 5 minutes as you possibly can. Let's get this going again. We are now on to the February agenda. Clerk, please take the roll.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crow, Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher is present. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle is present. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose is present. Senator Seal. Senator Seal is present. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson is present. You have a quorum in the Senate. Representatives Clemens, Crawford. Crawford's present. Faison. Fritz. Fritz is present. Glenn. Glenn is present. Hardaway. Haynes. Haynes is present. Mayberry. Mayberry is present. McKenzie. McKenzie's present. Parkinson. Reedy. Reedy's present. Renault. Rudder. Rudder's present. Sherrill. Towns. Chairman Lafferty.
Yes, sir.
Chairman Lafferty is present.
All right, wonderful.
You have a quorum in both chambers.
We've got that done. Time to move on to item number 1 on our February agenda, the Alcoholic Beverage Commission. If you could please make your way up. And I don't know if everybody was in the room earlier for the announcement. If you're the next person up for the Price is Right, the Department of Health, if you guys wouldn't mind making yourself available up here at the front so we can just kind of get in and out of chairs a little quicker. Alcoholic Beverage Commission, you are welcome. Please introduce yourself and tell us about your rule.
Thank you, Chairman Lafferty. Russell Thomas, Director of the Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission, joined here today with Aaron Rummage, our Director of Legislation, Policy, and Communication. Public Chapter 526 regarding hemp was signed into law last May 21st. And that legislation expanded Tennessee's regulatory framework for those hemp-derived products. And it transferred primary licensing and enforcement authority to our agency for the first time. So over the summer, we engaged with a wide range of stakeholders through the permanent rulemaking process, folks representing diverse viewpoints to develop a set of rules that first and foremost implemented the legislature's directives from last spring and try to balance public safety and avoid any unnecessary compliance burdens on businesses. In that rulemaking process for the permanent rules, and these are just a duplication of those permanent rules that we promulgated to make sure they went into effect at the new year. We received 15 public comments. Most of those really address statutory language, not anything unique to the promulgated rules. Some of them related to some of the list of substances that were restricted in last year's legislation. And as I said, because the statutory provisions, some of those went into effect January 1st because of the short timeline, we also promulgated or sought to seek these emergency rules promulgation of those same set of rules. So, for example, the statute directed the ABC to promulgate health and safety standards such as prohibitions on toxic heavy metals or pesticides in some of these products. And we wanted to ensure that there was no gap in Tennessee law setting those health and safety standards during any transition period. So with that, we've promulgated these emergency rules that are in front of you today.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, you all may remember we've dealt with this a few times in the last several months. He just said it, but I'll go ahead and reiterate. The next several items coming up are all emergency rules. With that, members, do we have any questions for our panel? Senator Seal, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do not have a question, but I do have a comment.
Please.
I want to thank you all for the work that you do. You've helped my office several times in the last few months. Aaron, Director, thank you all so much for that. I'm really appreciative.
Happy to help. Thanks, sir.
All right, thank you for that. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, do we have any public input, public comment? Seeing none. We have recommendation for positive recommendation. We have a second. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crow, Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 5 ayes.
Thank you for that. And on to the House members, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rules moves out with a positive recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 2, Department of Health. When you are situated, after that, we've got item 3, the professional bondsman. When you're ready, go ahead, recognize yourselves and let us know about your rule.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of committee. My name is Olivia Johnson. I'm a legislative liaison for Department of Health. I'm joined by Krista Cougar, Senior Associate Counsel, and Mark Tenpenny, Director of our Environmental Health. This rule before you today is as a result of the 2025 Public Chapter 400, the Tennessee Food Safety Act. This legislation took permit fees out of statute and allowed them to be created by rule. These emergency rules simply take the exact amount permit fees that were previously in statute and sets them in rule to meet the January 1st deadline that was outlined in the Tennessee Food Safety Act. Temporary food service establishments will have a permit fee of $30. Farmers markets will have an annual fee of $300. Establishments with 0 to 50 seats will have an annual fee of $210. And establishments with 51 or more seats will have an annual fee of $360. And again, those are the exact ones that were in statute previously. This rule is being brought to you as an emergency rule because of the deadline set, and permanent rules are in the process of being filed with the Secretary of State's office. With that, if you have any questions, let us know.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, Representative Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one really quick question. I understand the numbers haven't changed. Just curious why the farmer's market fee is a little bit higher than the other two.
You're recognized.
Thank you. My understanding is that that was set by statute previously, and so we just matched that statute. I would have to look into the legislative intent behind that to know that fee.
Thank you for the question. Members, Representative Glenn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for being here. One quick question. Where does the food truck fall up under in these rules? Does a food truck have a fee that they have to deal with? It's on.
Yeah, it's the $210 50 and under seats.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Any other questions? Seeing none. Members, I'm sorry, public comment. Seeing no public comment. Oh, and we've got a second from Senator Seal. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote in Senate.
Senators Bowling, Crow, Hatcher.
Aye.
Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose.
Aye.
Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson.
Aye.
Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 5 ayes.
Thank you for that. And members in the House, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with a positive recommendation. Thank you all for being here. Item number 3, the Board of Professional Bondsmen. Please come on down. You're recognized when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. I'm Reed Witcher. I'm the Assistant Commissioner for Regulatory Boards of the Department of Commerce and Insurance. I'm joined by Roxana Gamusio, who's serving as the Executive Director for the newly formed Board of Professional Bondsmen. These emergency rules were promulgated pursuant to Public Chapter 491 of 2025, which created the board. The rules establish the process for obtaining a license, define terms, and set licensure fees. The board approved these rules at a public meeting on November 25th, 2025. The rules became effective on December 26th and will remain effective through June 24th, 2026. The program is in the process of promulgating permanent rules. The rulemaking hearing for the permanent rules is scheduled for next Friday, February 27th. With that, we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Representative Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just one quick question. It says the board does not anticipate the initial fees will be more than 2% of the department's budget. So can you put just a dollar figure on that? Is it indeed 500,000 times the 2%?
Representative Fritz, could you help him out with the page
Page
number?
41, just the cover sheet. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And Representative Fritz, I don't have your filing in front of me, so I have the rulemaking filing and not the packet for the committee in front of me. But I believe that the department answers that question respective to the department's budget, not of the program's budget. However, we anticipate the annual revenues for the program would be less than $500,000 annually.
You're recognized.
Could I get some follow-up on what that's going to cost the bondsman after this?
I can answer that now if you'd like.
Yes.
So the rules establish licensure fees. This board is licensing both individual bondsmen and bonding companies. An individual bondsman pays a $250 licensure fee, and that's good for 2 years. And a bonding company pays a $500 fee plus $100 per registered agent of the company. So a company would pay an $800 licensure fee if they have 3 bonding agents under their company, as an example. We established those fees in consultation with the board that was formed in anticipation of what we expect typical expenditures for this program to be. So that is our best first guess as we work to make sure this program is self-sufficient.
Thank you.
All right, thank you for the question. Members, any other questions? Seeing none, any public comment? Seeing none. Oh, we have a motion for a positive recommendation and we have a second. Mr. Clerk, please take the vote of the Senate.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher.
Aye.
Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 5 ayes, Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that. On to the House. Members, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rules move out with positive recommendation. Thank you. Next up, we have item number 4, the Detection Services Licensing Program. When you guys are situated and ready, you're recognized and do what you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Reed Witcher, Assistant Commissioner for Regulatory Boards at Commerce and Insurance. I'm joined by Ashton Bodie, Executive Director of the Detection Services Licensing Program, and Jesse Gentry, who is Chief Counsel for the Division of Regulatory Boards. The emergency rules that are before you were promulgated pursuant to Public Chapter 344 of 2025, which created an enhanced armed guard certification for armed guards. These rules create the application requirements and standards related to the enhanced armed guard certification, set criteria for the 16-hour training course that's required in statute, and establish fees for the annual certification. The rules became effective on December 26, 2025, and will remain effective through June 24th, 2026. The program is in the process of promulgating permanent rules and conducted a rulemaking hearing for those permanent rules on February 9th, 2026. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Representative Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The last question along these lines, but it follows in for the previous discussion. So we have a fee on this, $100, and I get that. Is that because it added staff from bringing this under regulation, or can you explain to me why we have the $100 on?
Sure. So the fee for this enhancement would be used to cover the cost of reviewing and processing these applications, and also for the review of complaints, training review, other administrative costs associated with that. So the answer is yes, we are anticipating more costs. I don't know that those costs are going to result in the department having to create a new position for the review of these applications. However, our cost back structure is structured so that the percentage of work that someone is performing for our program is allocated accordingly. So while it may not result in a new position, it could result in more billing for a particular program.
You're recognized.
Just one follow-up. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If we don't anticipate that it's going to cost the state more money to do this by hiring more people, it's hard for me to get to adding that fee on the business to be able to do that. So help me with that if I'm missing something.
Sure. So this will have real personnel costs that we incur, both from a license processing perspective and then also legal investigatory technology hours that we are incurring. And from a big picture, so we have 26 regulatory programs and investigations and legal and technology staff who support those programs. And as the costs for a particular program grow, their cost back percentage increases. So because this will increase the number of folks who have a certification with that board, that will result in a proportional increase in cost.
You recognized.
Just one more follow-up, I promise. I appreciate it. Again, if we go back to we don't anticipate hiring more staff, we already had those Tennessee state employee bodies in place. I struggle to find why we need the $100 if we don't anticipate hiring more bodies to exercise this program. Does that make sense?
Yes, Representative, and I apologize if I'm failing to explain this well. Well, the reason for the fee is because the additional work for this program will shift them to incur more of the total cost of administering all of our regulatory programs. It increases their size relative to the other programs that the division oversees, and we're required to proportionally bill programs based on their size. And so, with that, the fee, which we hope to keep reasonably low, is required for us to be able to offset that cost.
Go ahead.
One last follow-up. I promise I'll stop with this one. I understand the proportionality of things. I get that. But again, if there's no increase in headcount, it's hard for me to look at the citizen and say we should have put a fee on that business if there's no increase of headcount. Have we messed that up statutorily, or how do we correct that? Let me finish that just thought, because when I see it, if we need 10 employees, it's many more than that, but if we need 10 employees to staff your organization and we pick up this new requirement and you don't need 11 employees, I have a hard time justifying sending a $100 fee onto the person that wants to do this for a living.
Your response?
Yes, sir. So I appreciate that perspective. And what we have to account for when we are setting these fees is that the shift in the proportional shift in billing is resulting in this instance in an increase for expenditures for the detection services licensing program. But that shift has an effect on all of our programs. It is slightly reducing the cost for all programs. So we closely monitor the fiscal position of all of our programs. And what this in fact means is that some other programs pay slightly less for services because the role of this program has grown within the division. We monitor both our overall budget and the budget of individual programs to keep those costs in check. And if we determine that this $100 fee is unnecessarily high, it's certainly something that we would adjust and would be reporting to this committee through the self-sufficiency process.
All right, thank you. Great questions. Senator Seeley. I'm sorry, we've got, could you withdraw that for now? We've got another question. Representative Glenn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for being here. Just a quick question. In the training for officers, I do not see crowd control as one of the training requirements for armed guards. There's a lot of weapons training, which I think is very important and necessary. But the crowd control, I think, if we've seen, is something that really and truly needs to be taught. Is there a reason why that's not in there, or was it just not thought of at the time?
You're recognized.
So this training is specific to adding the enhanced armed guard certification to an existing armed guard. It's in some sense a license on top of a license, but an armed guard, all armed guard training is governed under also detection services licensing program rules, but not these rules. So these rules are specific to what the training would include if they want to add that enhancement certification to their license. And the criteria for the training was developed contemplating what the statute is requiring us to verify, the skill that they would need specific to the certification. And also we worked, we sought feedback from trainers and guards and the law enforcement community to determine what would be appropriate requirements for this 16-hour set.
You follow up?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So crowd control could be eventually added to the training if that's something that we will need to look at. Is that about right?
You're recognized.
That's correct. And also the training can go above and beyond what's listed in the rules. Yes, sir.
Thank you for that. Members, any other questions from the committee? Do I see any public comment? No public comment. I think I have a motion for a positive recommendation here. And do we get a second? We got a motion, we got a second. I'm sorry, Mr. Clerk, take the vote in the Senate, please.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher. Aye. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver, Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 5 ayes.
Thank you for that. To the House, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rules move out with positive recommendation. Thank you guys for being here. All right, next up on our agenda, item number 5, the Tennessee Debt Resolution Services Program. Following these guys, we'll have Department of Education. So when you're ready, Mr. Wicker, please introduce yourself once again for the record and tell us about your role.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Reed Witcher, Assistant Commissioner for Regulatory Boards at Commerce and Insurance. I am joined by Jen Binkley, Executive Director for the Debt Resolution Services Program. These emergency rules were promulgated pursuant to Public Chapter 287 of 2025, which created the new Debt Resolution Services within the division. The rules establish the process for obtaining a license, define terms, and set licensing fees. The language, these rules, and the fee mirror existing debt management program rules. So I'll elaborate on that since we've had some conversation about the fees that the department has set in some of these emergency rules. Debt management companies have already been required to be licensed by the department prior to the previous year. Debt resolution companies have been added as a new program. There are an incredibly small number of these companies. I think we have about 30 debt management licensees. And so we have had some time to figure out what a self-sufficient fee is that keeps them operating in the black with a healthy but not too large reserve. We are anticipating the debt resolution, many of our, if not all of the debt resolution licensees will be companies that are currently licensed as debt management companies who are moving their registration to be a debt resolution company instead. So the fee structure here is is reflected by the model for what has worked well with debt management. These rules became effective on December 26th and will remain effective through June 24th, 2026. The program is in the process of promulgating permanent rules. The rulemaking hearing for the permanent rules was conducted on January 13th, 2026. With that, happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that thorough explanation. Representative Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll blame all the questions on the pizza.
All right.
So on page 72, just really one question this time. It refers to an application fee of $4,000 and then a non-refundable application fee of $4,000. So if I were getting into this business, if I were starting a company, what would it cost me in those fees to be able to open up a debt resolution business?
The licensing fee is $4,000, so they wouldn't be paying an $8,000 fee initially. It's $4,000 initial and $4,000 renewal.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes.
All right, thank you for that. Members, any other questions? Seeing none, do we have any public comment? Seeing no public comment, we're ready to get a positive recommendation, and we've got a second. Mr. Clerk, when you're ready, take the vote in the Senate, please.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher. Aye. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Aye. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Aye. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Aye. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 5 ayes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. And to the House, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rules move out with a positive recommendation. Thank you, guys. Next up, we've got the Department of Education. Looks like you guys are already. Thank you so much. Please, when you're ready, introduce yourself and let us know what your role is all about.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. My name is Anna Hall, and I'm the Legislative Liaison for the Department of Education. I am joined today by Ms. Robin Kopp, our Assistant Commissioner of School Turnaround. Today, we have our emergency rules for the Progressive Tiered Intervention Program. These rules were promulgated in accordance with Public Chapter 464 of the Public Acts of 2025. Public Chapter 464 sunsets the Achievement School District and establishes a new 3-tier school turnaround framework. The emergency rule largely mirrors the language in the statute with some additional details about timelines and the manner in which districts submit their comprehensive support and intervention plans to the department. The department is finalizing our permanent rules with the hope to have a rulemaking hearing in April, and we stand ready for any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Representative McKenzie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and just trying to understand what's going to happen. Could you briefly lay out what's going to happen once the Achievement School District goes away? What happens in 26 this fall?
You recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Representative McKenzie. Those two schools that are remaining in the Achievement School District, and I'm going to look to Robin to correct me if I'm wrong, will be transitioning back to Memphis Shelby County Schools. They will remain open. The transition planning is going well, and everything is on track for that. They will be placed in Tier 2, and Memphis Shelby County will at that point develop a comprehensive support and intervention plan to support those schools moving forward. But they will both be remaining open and transitioning back to Memphis Shelby County.
Chip, follow up?
Yeah, so, I know part of this, they were given kind of enhancements within the school. Do those enhancements follow them into the Tier 2 status within Memphis Shelby County?
You're recognized.
Yes, sir, they do.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Members, any other questions? Seeing none, do we have any questions from the audience? Seeing none. We've got a motion for a positive recommendation from Chairman Reedy and a second from Senator Seal. Mr. Clerk, when you're ready, take the vote in the Senate, please.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle passes. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 5 ayes and 1 present not voting.
Thank you for that. And
4 ayes, 4 ayes.
this rule will go out with no recommendation from the Senate. Let's stand by and see what happens in the House. All those in favor of a positive recommendation in the House indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. So you do get the positive recommendation in the House. All right. Thank you guys for being here today. Next up, we are on to item number 7, State Board of Education.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Nathan James. I'm our Deputy Executive Director. I'm joined by Rachel Supay, our General Counsel. And we've got our good friends from the Department of Education as well. We'll start with the Course Access Program rules. This is on page 89, I think, of your rule packet. So Public Chapter 784 in 2018 authorized the State Board to draft rules to effectuate the Course Access Program, and TCA 4918-108 requires the State Board to adopt a policy regarding extended learning opportunities. The Course Access Program rules effectuate the Course Access Program Act set forth in 4918-101 through 110. Chapter 235 of the Public Acts of 2025, however, repealed from statute certain program reporting requirements due to minimal district interest in the program over the last several years. First, it removed the requirement for the Tennessee Department of Education to publish a link to the Course Access Catalog in a prominent location on its website. Also repealed the requirement that the department make the following information publicly available. Number 1, the number of students participating in the Course Access Program and the total number of courses in which students are enrolled. 2, the number of approved course providers. 3, the number of approved courses and the number of students enrolled in each course. The number of courses available by subject and grade, and the number of students enrolled in courses by subject and grade level. And the student outcome data, including course completion rates and other approved measures. Accordingly, these changes remove the corresponding language from the rule. So this was a statutory change, and the State Board of Education made no changes other than precisely what was required in law. But I will point out that to my understanding, no LEA has expressed interest in this program since it was put together in 2018. Immediately following 2018, other programs like AP Access for All and the very successful dual enrollment programs got the lion's share of activity and interest from the LEAs. So I think that's what prompted the legislature to change those reporting requirements, and that's why we've, of course, changed the rule to comply with the statute.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Senator Kyle, you're recognized.
Thanks, Chairman. And maybe it's more of a comment. Today, I will support you, but since no one has accessed this course, no student has used this course, and I certainly understand due to dual enrollment, I think that the committee ought to look at eliminating this. There's no reason for it. But if you want to comment, you can. But I think that it's good to tee up the committee members and give them an opportunity to think about eliminating it or not. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. James, any comments?
Well, senators and representatives, obviously, it's always good to have an eye on these things. The legislature's made the decision that these particular points don't need to be reported on. So I will let the 17 and 50 rules stand. So if the Senate and the House of Representatives wants to make that change, happy to. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and execute the law as you give it to us.
Thank you for that. Members, do we have any other questions? Seeing none, do we have any public comment? Seeing none, we have a motion for a positive recommendation. We have a second. Mr. Clerk, when you're ready, take the vote in the Senate, please.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crow, Senator Hatcher.
Aye.
Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Aye. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver, Senator Rose.
Aye.
Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Aye. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Aye. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 5 ayes.
Thank you for that. On to the House. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with a positive recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Next up, item number 8, back to the State Board. Once again, please, for the record.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm Nathan James with the State Board of Education. I'm joined by Anna Hall with the Department of Education and, of course, Rachel Supay, our general counsel, our intrepid general counsel on my right. This one is 101 of your rule packet. It's the educator licensure rule. Tennessee State Board of Ed Licensure Rule Chapter 0520-02-03 outlines the various pathways towards licensure in Tennessee. Rule .02 outlines the different types of educator licenses. .07 governs the issuance of post-secondary educator licenses. Rules .11 through .13 outline the requirements of issuance of endorsements, permits, and limited licenses. Public Chapter 328 of last year took effect on the 1st of July and made various revisions to educator licensure laws to streamline requirements and increase consistency across emergency credentials and license types. The rule changes make corresponding revisions to align with that public chapter, and they include the following. Adding the limited occupational license to the list of eligible licenses, license types, and defining the validity period for those licenses. We also, allowing educators to add additional endorsements to subsequent issuances of the post-secondary educator licenses. Allowing an educator to teach a course with an end-of-course exam if the educator is granted an emergency credential as outlined in the or permits rule. Removing the prohibition against granting endorsement exemptions for courses with an end-of-course exam. Removing the prohibition against granting clinical practice permits to teach elementary physical education courses. Of course, that had been previously prohibited by state law, which was altered by this public chapter. Removing the requirements for occupational permits, which have been replaced by the new limited occupational teaching license. Amended the requirements for issuance of the limited license to educators who have utilized 3 temporary teaching permits. So that really separated those into limited academic and limited occupational permits there. Remove the prohibition to grant a limited license for courses with an end-of-course exam, again reflecting specifically the statute. Outlining the requirements for issuance, renewal, and advancement of the limited occupational teaching license. This will be a new type of occupational teaching license created through this public chapter. To obtain the license, an individual must meet certain industry work or credential requirements, complete LEA training in specific subject areas, and receive support from a highly effective mentor teacher during the validity period of that license. The State Board of Education, of course, held a public rulemaking hearing on those changes on the 9th of October, 2025. We had no public comments, either mailed, given to us in person, or on WebEx. So we make that all available. with that, happy to take questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? One quick one, and this may not even be able to be answered. Any guesstimate of how many people you might be able to draw toward the teaching profession with these changes? And I know it's not an exact science here.
Speculative, we'll see. You want to?
I do have
go over the
some,
numbers that we
some
have.
data from my colleagues at the department, and Anna can correct me if this is outdated. The limited academic license, we have 530 active at the moment. The limited occupational license, 61 issued thus far.
So nothing to sneeze at.
No.
Progress.
And I would just remind, as you've known from your time on the Education Committee and the other members, it's always important to remember that we need to make certain that the folks that are in our classrooms that we bring in have the training and the understanding of the law and their responsibility in society. So it's always a bit of a balancing act, and that's something that we at the State Board of Education, this committee, and the education committees of the General Assembly are partners in. So anytime we talk about the need to bring more folks into the teaching profession, it's also important that we talk about those requirements. And we thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions? Seeing none. Any public comment? Seeing none. We have a motion for positive recommendation from Chairman Reedy, and we got a second from Chairman Jackson. If you would please take the roll in the Senate.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher. Aye. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver, Senator Rose. Aye. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland, Chairman Jackson. Aye. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 5 ayes.
Thank you for that. And to the House, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members.
Thank you. Next up, item number 9, the Public Charter School Commission. I thank you guys for coming back. When you're ready, please introduce yourself for the record and let us know what we're up to.
Great, thank you. Tess Stovall, Executive Director of the Tennessee Public Charter School Commission. The rule before you today governs charter school amendments and amendment appeals. So in accordance with statute, a charter school may petition their charter school authorizer to amend material terms of their charter agreement. The statute also has the commission developing rules to govern that process. The commission also governs amendment appeals as well. In Public Chapter 275, that was passed by the General Assembly in 2025, there were changes made to paperwork and reporting requirements related to charter school application, appeals, and amendments. So the changes to this rule brings the rule in alignment with changes in statute. We held a rulemaking hearing on October the 1st of 2025, and through the rulemaking process, we received one comment to clarify what items may be addressed in an amendment petition. That comment was incorporated in the final version of the rule that's before you today. And I'm happy to take questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Representative McKenzie, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, help me understand. So if a local LEA school board votes unanimously or a 2/3 vote not to have it, and they the particular charter school under consideration, that does not factor anywhere in your consideration for whether you grant it or not.
So I want to make sure. So are you speaking about a new start application or an amendment to a charter agreement, or in any case?
In either one.
Sure. So in any appeal that the commission receives, be it an amendment petition or a new start appeal, the commission evaluates the local board's decision, their evidence and reasoning why they made their decision, in addition to information provided by the applicant. So they're weighing all of the information, including the LEA's reasons for denial.
Follow up?
Thank you. But, okay, so to my earlier point, so even if, it's geographically across the county, let's call it a county LEA, that they don't want north, south, east, and west, those elected members say this is not a good fit for our county, there's no driver that drives your decision. When you say evaluate it, you take it under consideration. That could be high, low, or medium. There's no driver to give that any kind of priority.
There's no rubric that says the weight or priority that is given. It's evaluated as a part of the full record.
So final follow-up. So this doesn't, in your estimation, take away local control?
So currently in statute, the amendment petition process is already laid out in statute. And so these rules just lay out how charter schools go about amending and then the appeal process, which is already laid out in statute.
So final questions, but you could have a rubric. You all could develop a rubric that says we need to give weight if it's 2/3, you all by yourselves without any legislation, because it's under your control. If 2/3 or 90% or whatever number of a elected body says this is not a good fit, couldn't you all develop a rubric that gives that weight? And if so, why haven't you?
Sure. I will defer to my general counsel on my right to confirm if whether or not we would even have that statutory authority to go outside of what's already in statute.
Nope, not yet.
General Counsel Ashley Thomas, thank you for that question. Currently, if you're speaking about New Start applications, the language of the statute currently says that the commission has to take a de novo review, so look at everything in its weight. And so what we do at the commission is review everything according to the State Board of Education's rubric, which does not set out that different weight as you asked.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Members, do we have any other questions? Representative Mayberry, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So that appeal process, of course, is, you can confirm this with me, but it's put into state law from us. We, the General Assembly, put that into state law. And if it's my understanding, school boards across the state were denying applications, and they wanted to be able to have maybe a fair shot where it was denial, denial, denial. The General Assembly, we agreed that we should give them a fair shot at being implemented. And is that the reason why this law was passed in your understanding?
So yes, I think what you stated is correct. In statute, since the creation of New Start charter school applications, there has been an appeal process, both for New Start applications, renewals, and amendment appeals, which is what this rule deals with, to offer an opportunity that if charter schools are denied at the local Board of Education, there is an entity in which they can appeal the decision to. The commission, as my general counsel says, takes a de novo review. There are times where we do uphold the local district's decision. And there are times where we uphold and kind of approve the charter school's application. I'm happy to get you additional statistics, but we take a fresh review of every decision.
Follow up?
Yeah, just thank you. Thank you for your response. And then, of course, you kind of alluded to that in your response, but there's times where the local LEA is going to deny, and then you guys will also deny. For example, in the Clarksville Montgomery County school system, we've had multiple charter schools who have applied, and you've never went and overturned them.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Any other member questions? Seeing none, do we have any public comment? Seeing none, we have a motion for positive recommendation from Chairman Reedy. We have a second from Senator Jackson. Thanks, sir. Thank you, Chairman. Take the roll in the Senate, if you will, please. Clerk.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher. Aye. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes no. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Aye. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. No. Senator Seal votes no. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Aye. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 3 ayes and 2 noes.
So we didn't have enough votes in the Senate to support the motion, so it will move out with no recommendation. Now, members on to the House. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. And let's go on the board with that, please. If we could take the roll in the House.
Representatives Clemens, Crawford. No. Crawford votes no. Faison, Fritz. Fritz votes aye. Glenn? Glenn votes no. Hardaway? Haynes? Haynes votes aye. Mayberry? Mayberry votes aye. McKenzie? McKenzie votes no. Parkinson? Reedy? Reedy votes aye. Renault? Rudder? Rudder votes aye. Cheryl? Cheryl votes aye. Towns? Chairman Lafferty?
Aye.
Chairman Lafferty votes aye. You have 6 ayes and 3 noes.
All right, we'll move that out with a positive recommendation from the House. Thank you, guys. Next up, item number 10, Department of State. Thank you guys for being there so quickly. Appreciate you. When you're ready, go ahead, recognize yourself or introduce yourself and tell us what we're doing.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the committee. My name is Mallory Donovan. I'm the Legislative and Agency Affairs Coordinator for the Secretary of State. And with me today is Michael Harmon, General Counsel for the Secretary of State. You may remember that last year you passed Public Chapter 124, which addresses procedures for online notaries, requiring them to take a course regarding the technology and ethical requirements for online notaries, pass an exam, and attest that they will abide by notary laws. A rulemaking hearing was held on November 10th, 2025. This updates to amend the rules to reflect the passage of that statute. That is all this does, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions from the committee? Do we have any public comment? Seeing none, we are having a positive recommendation with a second. We're ready to vote in the Senate. Mr. Clerk, when you're ready.
Senators Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher?
Aye.
Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle?
Aye.
Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver, Senator Rose? Aye. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal? Aye. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland, Chairman Jackson?
Aye.
Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 5 ayes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. On to the House. Members in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you all. Next up, Department of Commerce and Insurance. Welcome back. When you're ready, please introduce yourself and tell us about your rules.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Reed Witcher, Assistant Commissioner for Regulatory Boards of Commerce and Insurance, joined by Roxana Gamusio, who's Executive Director of the Scrap Metal Dealer Registration Program. The rules before you were promulgated pursuant to the department's retrospective rule review. These rules remove a requirement that withdrawn registrations have to be returned, the physical copy of the registration be returned to the program. The rules also give flexibility to registrants by allowing them to, for up to a period of 6 months of expiration, renew with a $25 penalty per month rather than submitting a new application for approval. The program conducted a rulemaking hearing on September 29th, 2025. No public comments were received, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Seeing none, do we have any public comment? Seeing none, we have a motion for a positive recommendation and we have a second. Mr. Clerk, when you're ready, please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher? Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle? Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver? Senator Rose? Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal? Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland? Chairman Jackson? Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 5 ayes, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks, sir. And members in the House, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? We've got one in opposition if you want to report yourself to the clerk. All right, rule moves out with a positive recommendation. Thank you very much. Next up, item number 12, TennCare. When you are ready, please introduce yourself for the record and let us know what your rule's about.
Good afternoon, Chairman and members of the Joint Government Operations Committee. My name is Amanda Petrie. I serve as an Associate Counsel for the Division of TennCare. With me on my left is Lindsay Wagner, TennCare's General Counsel, and with me on my right is Kim Hagan, Director of Member Services. TennCare has one item for your consideration today. Item 12 on your agenda, starting on page 156 of your packet, amends TennCare's existing rules to clarify our current process for conducting good cause reviews when an appeal from a TennCare applicant or enrollee is received after the appeal deadline. Individuals who are determined ineligible for TennCare have the right to appeal that determination and are afforded due process protections in accordance with applicable state and federal law and existing TennCare rules. Appeals of eligibility decisions must be filed within 40 days. But to account for circumstances beyond their control, TennCare provides an opportunity for people who miss that deadline to still have their appeal accepted through a good cause review process. This process is not required by federal law. However, TennCare has elected to offer it as an added layer of protection for members and applicants denied benefits. Good cause reviews are an informal review process. When TennCare receives an untimely appeal, the agency will conduct a good cause review and accept that appeal if TennCare determines there is a sufficient justification for the late submission. Examples of sufficient justification are included in the rule amendment. Conducting good cause reviews is an existing process at TennCare, and that process is not being changed by these rules. Rather, these amendments align our rule language with our longstanding process of conducting good cause reviews. These permanent rules specifically amend Rule Chapter 1200-13-19. First, Rule Chapter 1200-13-19-.02 by deleting the existing definition of good cause and replacing it with a more specific definition of good cause review to clearly define the process. We are also amending Rule Chapter 1200-13-19-.06 by explaining the time during which TennCare will conduct a good cause review of an appeal filed after the appeal deadline and explicitly providing that appeals closed as untimely are subject to judicial review pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated 45322. And we are amending Rule Chapter 1200-13-19-.07 by removing a provision that does not align with the existing process for good cause reviews. And we are explaining that when an appeal is dismissed, the individual will receive a notice that includes an explanation of how that dismissal may be reviewed. We conducted a public hearing for these permanent rules on September 18th of 2025 and received comments from 30 interested parties. We appreciate those comments we received. We responded to all in writing, and we did make several changes to the rules to incorporate some of that feedback. This rule amendment will provide greater clarity to TennCare applicants and enrollees as it accurately reflects TennCare's existing process for conducting good cause reviews when an appeal from a TennCare applicant or enrollee is received after the appeal deadline. We are happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Senator Kyle, you're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. I want to tell you how I understand it. And I would just submit to you that you can correct me. I'd rather be of an understanding. And I want to thank TennCare. I've always had a good relationship since I got elected about a dozen years ago. And you change quite often, but I found you all to be very knowledgeable. But this is where I need help. You do help a lot of people. You're a lifeline. But sometimes there's a termination of someone you're covering, and that termination may be just by mistakes. Someone didn't send back in something because you won't send it to a wrong address, a mistake. I happen to know a situation that a gentleman had gone to, let's just say, a business and documented faxing his information in. Called, they said we didn't receive it. He called TennCare again, and they said, oh, we didn't receive it, terminated his daughter, who has great needs. So then I read this today, and the appeals process, for good cause, mistakes that were outside of who you're covering. It was outside of something they could control. And the good cause hearing can come into effect and be decided as the present law is, or present rules. There's an administrative judge who hears these cases. And this particular rule, okay, this is as I understand it, would eliminate the due process. Administrative judge who's under Secretary of State's office. Well, let me just stop there because I see you shaking your head. No, Chairman, I may have a follow-up because I want to be sure I understand that these hearings can be, what I'm trying to get to is I want those who were covered to have due process, to be able to take their case to an administrative judge and not decided by staff inside of TennCare who does not show me that it could be impartial. Not blaming that personally, I'm blaming it on the process, not anyone personally, not you all here, of course, and not anyone back at your office. So I would be glad for her to straighten me out, Chairman. Thank you for the time.
And I will toss that into your lap, ma'am. How would you,
Okay,
who would
great.
like to take that?
I'll try first and then they can jump in if necessary.
That's
My
the
name's Kim
problem.
Hagan. I'm the TennCare Director of Member Services. And thank you for the opportunity to explain the process. So every person who experiences either any negative action, whether it's a denial, a termination, or even a reduction in benefits, can file an appeal. And that appeal, if filed timely, can go through the process and up to a hearing before an administrative judge. And that is not changing. What these rules focus on are appeals that are filed late. So appeals must be filed within 40 days. So if appeal is filed late, the good cause of review is only looking at, is there a valid reason why this appeal was late? Was it our fault? Was it their fault? It doesn't matter, but was there something, was this person in the hospital? Was this person in rehab? Did they have a family member in the hospital that made them miss the appeal timeline? Those good cause reviews have never gone to hearing. They have never gone before an administrative judge. It's always been a very informal review process. We are very, very liberal in those reviews, and an overwhelming majority of late appeals do get accepted and do go on to either a resolution or to a hearing before a judge.
Senator Kyle, did that help?
Thank you, Chairman. And maybe next time I'll sit down with you with a red line. So they're going to have the due process back in front of the same people who terminated them. Some staff. Wonder if their service coverage is terminated and and you're telling me there's a good cause, they can come work with you to try to reinstate the coverage, the service. Because what I'm getting to, these people don't get the supplies they need. They can't go to the doctor, no insurance coverage, and those kind of situations are anything that government can do to stop, prevent, help, support, and support you. I mean, you can only go by what we pass and say. But anywhere in there I was wrong. I just don't think that an appeals decision or decision after they were terminated should be made by the same people that terminated them.
Would you like to reply?
Thank you. Yes, I think it would, Lindsay Wagner, I think it'd be helpful to clarify that these rules are only looking at the reason why the appeal was late, not the underlying eligibility determination. So once they've already had an eligibility determination, then they get an appeal right. If it's timely, it goes through the normal process. If it's untimely, then the agency can close it because they missed the deadline. So this is just an informal intake review of that to see if there's a good reason why the appeal was late. If it is, then the appeal will proceed. So it actually affords more appeals, even though they missed the deadline. And if the agency closes it as untimely, that's still reviewable in Chancery Court under judicial review. And that is clarified in this rule amendment. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, under the UAPA.
Thank you, Chair.
All right, yes, ma'am. With Representative McKenzie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So to kind of peel the onion back a little bit on that. So there's a wrong address. TennCare's fault, patient's fault, whatever. There's a wrong address that's existing in patient X's file. And you go through the process and they still, I'm assuming You send it to it has a wrong address. It's returned back to you all. The 40 days lapse. I'm assuming all you're going to do is send it back to the same wrong address. So my one question, are you going to make any other extraordinary efforts other than sending you're now officially cut off and beyond your appeal date to the same address? That's one piece of the question. Is there anything else that you do? And then the second, the patient doesn't realize that they have an issue. They go to the doctor and they're denied. We're past all the windows. We find out it was the wrong address and it's TennCare's fault, theoretically. Does that immediately get overturned, or do they continually have to go through that process to get their rights back under TennCare? And then the second piece is if that's wrong. So there's kind of three questions buried in there. Sorry.
You're recognized. You're recognized.
Okay, thanks. Okay, so the first part of your question, if we get returned mail, we do have a team who essentially they get a task and they work that return mail. They look in all of our available databases to see if there is some other address available, and if so, we will resend. What we have actually done in the last few years is we have a lot of interface information coming in on the front end. So let's say you move and you go to the post office and you file one of those little cards. We have an interface that automatically sends that information to us, and we'll automatically update the address. Or let's say you report your address to Blue Cross instead of us, we'll bring that in and automatically update it. The second part of your question is exactly what these rules do. So you go to the doctor, you're not eligible, you call and say, I want to file an appeal. Even though you're late, the good cause process we'll have somebody look and say, I see an address issue here. They have good cause, and they'll take that appeal late. So that's exactly what these rules are meant to address.
And my last follow-up is you spoke of the I guess I would call, from what we've got, significant comments coming back from the public, which I would expect. And you said that there were changes made as a result. Could you tell me one substantive change that you all made as a result of public comment?
Thank you, Representative McKenzie, for the question. So one example of a change that we made would be that, so we did list examples of what would be sufficient justification within the rule when we filed it. And then we realized that members of the public thought that that was an exhaustive list, that we were limiting it to only agency error, for example, or only hospitalization. And so a change that we made to the rule was to list including but not limited to show this is merely illustrative. It's an example of sufficient justifications, but like Kim said, we are very liberal in this process. And so we were trying to just clarify, there are a lot of reasons, that we would allow good cause. That's one example. Another example to Senator Kyle's question around the due process is that we did add a one sentence within the rule to explicitly state that any appeal that is closed as untimely is subject to judicial review according to, current state statute within Title IV. And so those are two substantial examples. And then we also, last that comes right to mind would be the notice that is sent out. We did amend that to say that once we receive public comment, we are still sending that notice, but we are also including within that how a dismissal could be reviewed.
Thank you for that explanation. Chairman Reedy, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What gives me pause is in your definitions, and I almost think in that paragraph, that last sentence of unsupported allegations that a notice was not received is not sufficient justification to accept an untimely appeal. My hope is, no, I don't trust the postal services. A lot of times I get the neighbor's mail, and sometimes I got to go to the neighbors and get my mail. And at least they're kind enough to call or to let me know instead of throwing it away. So with that, my question in this process, maybe you send out a couple notices. Now, we don't know if the person receives it or not. But it would seem with that last sentence is, well, we didn't receive it, so sorry, we're going to, it's unsupported allegations. My thought here is we have so fastly moved into the digital age. And a lot of times as a business owner, everything I do with the state of Tennessee is internet. I mean, I mail nothing to them and they mail me nothing in return. And so it's and at times they notify me through Commerce and Insurance is making sure that I still have my same email address, and they email me that to verify that, as well as a phone number if there's a phone number change. So my question to you is if you get return mail, and maybe this person has moved, surely you've got an email address or a phone number that you could follow up with these people. But I would hate to think because no mail was received and the patients that are on TennCare didn't receive a notification that they were taken off. So then they contact your office and still through that, I would think unsupported allegations, if that's part of it. And can you speak to that point for us, please?
I can take that. So it does say unsupported allegations, not just any allegations, right? So we
Right.
just need some additional context for why you missed the deadline. I'll also say that TennCare, it makes notices available through multiple means, not just by mail. We also have an online portal where notices are delivered. We send prompts through text and email that those notices are available there. So they are delivered electronically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with that, it's if it's because of postal service and mail, that would not be considered.
Oh,
Please
yeah.
go ahead and
I just
respond.
wanted to say, your example, my neighbor often gets my mail and I get, that's all we would need in the allegation. And then we would allow that to get.
But what if by mail that it was never received, and then the folks that were taken care of in Tennessee come back and said, I didn't get a notice. I know nothing. And then they respond back and says, I never received a notice that I was taking off of TennCare. What's the roadmap? Where do we go with those folks from there saying, I wasn't notified, I still need the services for myself, my wife, my children, whatever. And when we say an appeal process, if that takes 4 weeks, 40 days, whatever it is, I mean, how long are they going to go without services? And maybe they're financially strapped like most people are in the state of Tennessee. It's a little confusing, and hopefully we can figure all this out and take care of TennCare patients. Thank you.
Response?
Yes, I would add that if anyone loses coverage or they think they're eligible for TennCare, they can apply at any time. There are multiple means. Even if there's an appeal pending, they can reapply. That's actually the fastest way to get coverage back while appeals are going through that process.
Thank you.
And then I'll also add that appeals filed within 20 days of adverse action, they'll keep their coverage during the appeals process.
Okay. Thank you for that. Members, do we have any other questions? Just roughly how many people are on TennCare right now?
1.4 million.
1.4 million. So we could come up with every scenario imaginable on this committee, and we could still never touch all the possibilities out there. So thank you guys for what you're doing. Keep doing what you can and take into consideration these comments today, and when and where we can make it better, please do. All right. Any further questions? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? We have one. Mr. Keith Cottle, please come on down. If you would, just have a seat there closest to you, and we'll get you a microphone set up. If you would, your microphone is hot, and if you would introduce yourself, tell us who you're with, or if you're not with any organization, where you're from, please.
My name is Keith Cottle with no one, just represent
And if you could,
myself.
I'm sorry, if you could, please keep this limited to about 3 minutes.
3 minutes, got it. My name again is Keith Cottle, representing self, daughter, and the Tennessee children in this country, in this state. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. I have a little statement here. I'd like to thank the committee for letting me speak. And I am here on behalf of my daughter, Journey Cottle, and numerous other Tennessee families that have been terminated by TennCare. Numerous. Insurance coverage for these children, gone. I can admit to that. And I ask you guys today to vote no in this change, in removing this impartial judge. He's my help for this rule that they're wanting to change. Journey's a disabled child and a cancer patient. And imagine me going to a hospital with her with cancer needs to find out that your insurance has been terminated. You have no insurance. We have a problem now because she has a need. Her insurance coverage was terminated June 15, 2023. I'm sorry for my raspy voice. Because of additional information needed that was not received by TennCare and terminated on the same date, June 15, 2023. Reinstated with coverage June 26, 2023. 8 days lapse. 8 days is important to my daughter. 8 days. And we're talking countless numbers of days final appeal. Anyway, I had an organization that I called nonprofit because all I could do is throw my hands up. I'm done. What am I going to do now? I had a nonprofit attorney's firm to help me reinstate my daughter. And my daughter is currently in remission with cancer. But we did, during this time, we did have to cancel an oncology appointment with her, an appointment that's quite vital to her care. And really, that's all that I have to bring before you. So I'm the one parent in this state that is here to say no. I don't want TennCare to take over this thing and you guys not have an impartial person to make a decision for me and my daughter and the rest of the children in the state. And that's all I have to say. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being here today. Members, while we're still out of session, Representative Fritz, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for coming to talk to us today, sir. Can you tell us where you live and tell us a little bit about your, if you would mind sharing that, the progress of your daughter's treatments?
I am a Crossville, Tennessee person, Cumberland County, and she's a handicapped child with every disability available, so she's quite handicapped. And on top of that, she was born Down syndrome. On top of that, she was diagnosed with leukemia at the age of 7 years old. Hard for me to discuss that process. It hurts. For a couple of years, she went through torment with cancer. But she was well taken care of with insurance. And I was so grateful for TennCare's assistance. Without that, imagine her parent trying to have to pay a cancer bill with a patient's been in there for 2 years. Cannot happen. What other issue would you like?
Go ahead.
One follow-up. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I'm not trying
Yes.
to ask you difficult questions.
I understand.
I used to have a little farm in the high rent district of Cumberland County out in Daysville. So I'm very familiar with your county. And I'd just like to know what you do for a living and if you don't mind.
Well,
And then about your other children.
I'm a retired railroader, retired disabled railroader. Just recently turned 60 years old, so I'm near that retirement age anyway. So my other children are a son that's 23 that lives here in Murfreesboro area and actually works for the railroad as well. And I have a daughter that lives she's going to be moving to Virginia, and she's 32 years of age. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, do we have any other questions for our guest? Representative Glenn, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and sir, thank you for being here, and I'm sorry to hear about your daughter. I just have one question out of curiosity. You said that the services was terminated because you say they asked for additional information after you had filed with TennCare. Did you find the additional information to be unreasonable, and that was the reason why that you were not able to provide it, or?
No, I was able to provide it and did provide it by fax 3 different times.
Okay.
At a professional area. I didn't do it from my home. It went to Staples because old dad here, he's not that kind of technology person. I'm just not. So I allowed professional to do it. It was not information that I did not have, and they did state what information was needed, and that exact information was faxed because I am not willing to put my daughter's life at risk for my hesitation of doing what was needed with TennCare. It's just that important. But the information needed, and there was a quotation in their 3 different letters that I received them, exact same wording in all 3 letters, needing more information. And that's what I got in all 3 letters. After the second letter, I contacted TennCare representative, spoke with the person, asked them, have you not received facts sent to you that I have receipts for? And the answer was, they didn't even look in to see if it was. The answer was, no, we have received nothing. So what I do, I sent it the 3rd time to the fax number. I made for certain I had a correct fax number. And the answer was yes, there is a correct fax number. And what I do, I send it again. And then the letter of termination, I did not even receive by mail. It was sent to the wrong address. A letter of termination.
So it sounds like.
But by this point, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
By this point, it's already too late. This started in April. Prior to June, I've got plenty of time to get this done. After the 3rd send of the fax, I never heard from TennCare again. And what am I thinking as a parent? They finally got it. I haven't heard anything else. But that other letter coming, the termination letter, was sent to someone else's address.
Sound like there's a lot of confusion going on in there, so. Yeah.
There's problems, and everyone makes mistakes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Senator Seal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My question's for TennCare. Our public comment said that that we are removing a neutral judge.
Senator Seal, I'm sorry, just 1 second. I'm sorry, my apologies. We're still out of session. Do we have any other questions for our guest? All right, sir, thank you. Appreciate your testimony today. Let's get back into session. My apologies, Senator. Please proceed.
Thank you. So our public comment said that we're removing a neutral judge for this. So just to clarify for me and to understand it, is that what we're doing, removing a neutral judge and putting it in the hands of you all for the reappeal process?
No, sir. The good cause review process is not being removed from a judge. It's never been before a judge. Any adverse action has an opportunity to file an appeal and get before a judge if it's timely filed. If it's not, then it can be closed for untimeliness. If it's not timely, we will look at it for this good cause and send it on if there's good cause for it being late.
Senator Seal.
So can you just speak to this issue and what happened there? Are you aware of that? And can you speak to us on that?
If Mr. Cottle would authorize us to speak to that publicly, I want to make sure we're not violating any HIPAA regulations.
I'm sorry to do this to you, Mr. Cottle. If you could, please come back to the front. We're going to go out of session here for just a second, I think. And Mr. Cottle, if you would, please, for the record, again, state your name, and I will, after you state your name, let me ask you a question.
My name is Keith Cottle.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Cottle. And
Yes.
could you repeat the question to Mr. Cottle, please? If you don't mind, was it Senator Seal?
So my question is can you explain this issue with that process? Because his statement is that we are removing a neutral judge and it's putting it into the hands of you all. So just so I think the committee understands this issue and where it's at, so we're all on the same page, just clarify that for us, please.
And if the department would clarify with Mr. Cottle that he has your permission to speak to this issue.
Yes, you have my permission.
Thank you, Mr. Cottle.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Cottle. And we'll go. All right. With that, we will get back in session. Mr. Cottle, if you'd like to stay in that seat for just a few more minutes in case we want to jump back and forth, we are back in session. All right. You're recognized, please.
Hi, Kim Hagan again. It's been a few years since I looked into the case, but Mr. Cottle never filed an appeal. So this was never before the good cause process. It was never looked at as an appeal. It was, I believe he filed a new application. But had he filed an appeal, this would have been a very ripe case for good cause approving the late filed appeal.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. Representative McKenzie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I didn't know if Senator Seal was, okay. So, so I want to piggyback on what his question was. So it sounds like his daughter had coverage and then she didn't have coverage. And what you're saying, he didn't appeal, he applied for new coverage and it was gained. My question is, what happened when he lost coverage of his daughters? Was he not given due notice on that? Did he ignore it? And then my question comes back to, shouldn't you all, I'm not bashing, but just from a logic standpoint, your records will show, okay, she had coverage, she lost it. He's calling to get a new application. Shouldn't someone in your staff say, no, this is appeal worthy, whether it's 6 months later, because there's a gap, there has to be a gap, or at least investigate whether an appeal is the appropriate vehicle as opposed to him applying new.
Like just me.
He asked the one question and that's enough.
Okay, that if you would, we're gonna.
Senator Seal asked the
We've kind of diverted from the rules before us and gotten into a case that has been unfortunate to have happened here in the past. I want to try and get back to the rules before us as they are. If you would like to, please go ahead and address the last question from Representative McKenzie, and we'll put this portion to bed and we'll get back to the rule at hand. Thank you.
Sure. So, our call center, they'll take both an appeal and a new application or either one, whichever, whatever the caller wants. But they will often help the person by saying you may gain coverage faster through a new application. Because, we've got now real-time eligibility or no-touch eligibility that can potentially approve somebody within 24 hours. Yeah. Sure.
Thank you for that. Yes, sir. Thank you. Members, do we have any more questions for TennCare? Mr. Cottle, again, thank you for being here today and sorry to hear about your situation. Thank you. And you can go back to your chair if you'd like. Do we have any other public comment? Seeing none. All right. Members, do I have a motion for positive recommendation? I have a motion for positive recommendation. I have a second. Mr. Clerk, if you would please take the vote in the Senate.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher.
Aye.
Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes no. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose.
Aye.
Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Senator Jackson. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 4 ayes and 1 no.
All right. So that will move out of the Senate with no recommendation. Over to the House. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Please file your opposition with the clerk. Ayes have it in the House. You'll get a positive recommendation from the House. Thank you all. Yes, sir. Senator Rose.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. I just want to say this. I know we cannot get back into this case, but I do appreciate the fact that TennCare shared that there was a call center and they would work with people. And that's been my experience. So hopefully they'll get this resolved. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Of course. And just to add, while we've got another minute, 1.2 million people. Some things are going to happen, and it's unfortunate, but we're not perfect. We're not living in a perfect world, and sometimes, sadly, bad things happen to good people. So, anyway, let's move on from there. Next up, we've got the Tennessee Health Facilities Commission, item number 13. You already there? Thank you so much. Go ahead, please introduce yourself for the record and tell us about your role.
Thank you, Chairman and Committee. My name is Katie Thomas, and I'm with the Health Facilities Commission. These rules standardize and update the disaster preparedness language across all pertinent rule sets. Every facility licensed and regulated by the Health Facilities Commission shall establish and maintain communications with the Community Emergency Management Agency regarding procedures that are needed for the local comprehensive emergency plan. Each facility shall conduct both the physical facility and community emergency drills as required. Documentation of the communications in cooperation with the local agency must be maintained and available to HFC during the survey process. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? All right, seeing none. We have a motion for a positive recommendation, and we have a second from Chairman Jackson. Mr. Clerk, take the vote in the Senate.
Senators Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 5 ayes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. And to the House, members all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. The rule moves out with a positive recommendation. Thank you for being here. Next up, we have our Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services, item number 14. When you're ready, please introduce yourself and tell us about your role.
Thank you, Chairman and committee members. My name is Kristen Beloff. I'm with the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. To my immediate left is Ty Thornton, the department's Chief of Hospital Operations. And to Ty's left is Melissa Sparks, the Deputy Chief of Hospital Operations. The rules before you today pertain to chapters 940-1-1, 940-1-2, and 940-1, which outline the procedures for obtaining an informed consent for psychotropic medication, the roles and responsibilities of a treatment review committee, and procedures for the proper assessment of a person's capacity to make decisions, informed decisions about their care and/or treatment. After a robust review process through the retrospective rule review process and report submitted, during which the department solicited feedback from the regional mental health institutes, the Tennessee Association of Mental Health Organizations, and held a public rulemaking hearing on January 17th, 2025, the department presents these rules to you today for your consideration and positive recommendation. The revised rules have condensed pertinent information contained in Rule Chapter 940-1 Rule Chapter 940-1-2, as much of the content in Rule Chapter 940-1-1 related to the Department of Disability and Aging, who verified that the rule can be repealed once revised Rule Chapter 940-1-2 had been officially approved. Revised Rule Chapter 940-1-2 was updated to reflect current requirements under Title 33, and both Rule Chapters 940-1-2 and 940-1-6 were updated to remove references to intellectual and to comport with current clinical practices of the regional mental health institutes. I do want to say, again, these rules only apply to the 4 psychiatric regional mental health institutes underneath the Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services. With that, we ask for a positive recommendation and are happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation. Members, do we have any questions for our panel? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. Looks like we have a motion for a positive recommendation, and we have a second from Senator Jackson. Mr. Clerk, take the vote in the Senate, please.
Senators Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 5 ayes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. On to the House. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. The rule moves out with a positive recommendation. Thank you guys for being here. Next up, item number 15, we have the Department of Safety. You guys are recognized. Please introduce yourself and tell us about the rule.
Sorry, Elizabeth Stroker, General Counsel for the Department of Safety. I had to ask him real quick his title because I always demote them whenever I address them, so I didn't want to do that. This is Major Plotzer with me here from the Tennessee Highway Patrol. Today, we have the Department Rules 1340-06-01, which are the supervision and control for you. These rules, I'd say 97% of them have not been updated since the early 1970s. So these rules are being updated here before you. You're going to see most of them are being deleted because they no longer exist on the federal regulations, or the agencies responsible for them no longer do this, or they do not exist. And so these rules and regulations describe the supervision and control of these vehicles, including but not limited to the adoption of the Interstate Motor Carrier Noise Emission Standards, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations, and the Commercial Vehicles Safety Alliance's out-of-service criteria. These rules have not been updated really since the early 1970s. Since then, state and federal laws and regulations have changed, and the department is obviously following all state and federal regulations, and so there's no issue with out of compliance in that regard. And so this is just being updated pursuant to the 8-year rule review and getting that back in line. We held the public hearing on August 18th, 2025. There was nobody present, and we did not receive any additional comments after we left the record open for 2 extra weeks. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for that explanation of the rule. Members, do we have any? Representative Fritz, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you all. It's good to see you all today. I have just really 2 questions. The first one starts on page 291. It caught my attention when I went through. I'll read it through and give you a chance to find it. And it's referring to, says, no person shall drive or cause to be driven a motor vehicle carrying placardable quantity of hazardous materials specified in 49 CFR 172,500 through 172,558. That caught my interest, and it's in Knox County area. Just curious.
I don't want to speak without.
Let him finish his question. Have you
Well,
finished?
I'm just curious what all those entailed. I looked up 500 and 558, and it goes from placarding requirements to corrosive materials. I just thought that was interesting. I'm assuming that's primarily a scale work.
Ms. Stroker, you're recognized.
Thank you. And sorry, kind of how Commerce and Insurance said earlier, I don't have the same packet you all do. So can you tell me the rule section you're talking about?
Go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry. It's 1340-06-01-2007. No, I guess 2007. I'm having a hard time reading it.
Do you need those last 4 digits again?
Yes, I'm not aware of anything that's 4 digits. I need that last like 0.1 something number.
It's 0.2007. I think the 2 zeros scratched out and 07's added in.
Okay, so the new 0.07.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now I'm getting what you're saying.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
And Mr. Chairman, I don't want to take a lot of everybody's time with this. That just caught my interest. It'll lead me to the next question. I'm not trying to fully explore what all those CFRs. I just thought it was interested for the Knox County area.
Yes, I thought that was the right one. I just wanted to make sure. So this may not help with your answer, but that has been in there since 1970s, and we can't figure out where it came from after a lot of asking, and so we were hesitant to take it out, and that is the honest truth.
I think I may know, and we can talk after. I might be able to help y'all with that. The second question is this. It goes to the out of service sticker, and that's in section, I guess now new section 4. That's 281. And this one has to do, and I'll stop with this questions. I promise I'm sensitive to y'all's time as well. It talks about taking a vehicle out of service. So I would assume under those guidelines we just talked, it's possible that you could take a vehicle out of service. Or if a motor carrier was carrying persons rather than cargo, and they were not permitted to carry persons. And I'm going into a question about illegal aliens. And so my last question is this. Has there been some guidance via email or other method that has discouraged or prevented coordination with Customs and Border Patrol or ICE agents regarding inspections of vehicles at anywhere in the state of Tennessee?
You're recognized.
I am not aware of anything. Again, I'm here just to prepare to talk about these rules, so that's a little
Yes.
outside of what we're prepared for today. I'll make sure that our legislative team looks into that and gets back with you, though.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Members, do we have any other questions? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. We've got a motion for positive recommendation. We have a second. Mr. Clerk, when you're ready, go ahead and take the vote in the Senate, please.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 5 ayes.
Thank you for that. On to the House. Members, all in favor of positive recommendation indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you guys for being here today. And next up, we have the Prevailing Wage Commission. Thank you guys for being here so promptly. When you're ready, please go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us about your rule.
Thank you, Chairman and committee members. Good afternoon. Tia Sixis. I'm the Chief of Staff with the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development. With me, I have Chance Deason, our General Counsel, as well as our Assistant Commissioner, Tom Herard, over our workplace regulations and compliance. The rules that we have brought before you to amend out of Chapter 800 regarding the Prevailing Wage Commission deal with just classification changes. There's not any substantive changes to how we affect the rate, but about the job classifications. And this is to modernize the different components, just where technology has changed and advanced. There's a component that offers a clearer, more simplified definition for who is a covered worker, as well as just updating some administrative components about copies and such, that we're compliant in those disclosures, and we stand for any questions that you may have regarding these rules.
Thank you for that explanation. Representative Glenn, you're recognized, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for being here. This may not really have anything to do. It's just out of curiosity. What is the minimum living rate for Tennesseans? What do they need to make an hour to actually make a living rate? Is that something you would know?
I don't know off the top of my head, and the state of Tennessee doesn't have a minimum wage. And so, do y'all know?
Okay.
No, sir, I'm sorry.
All right.
All right, thank you. Members, any other questions? Seeing none, do we have any public comment? Seeing none. We've got a motion for a positive recommendation. We have a second. Mr. Clerk, take the vote in the Senate, please.
Senator Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. Mr. Chairman, you have 5 ayes.
Thank you for that. And to the House, members, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Rule moves out with a positive recommendation. Thank you guys for being here today. Next up, we have item number 17, Department of Labor and Workforce Development. When you are ready, please introduce yourself and tell us about the rule.
Good afternoon, Chairman and Committee. Thank you for having us today. My name is Amanda Terry, and I am Deputy General Counsel and Legislative Liaison With me today, I have Chief Judge of the Workers' Compensation Court, Judge Ken Switzer. I'll try to make this as brief as possible. The Tennessee Legislature passed comprehensive workers' comp legislation in 2013, and that went into effect in 2014. The reform created a new administrative court of workers' compensation claims within the Bureau, and they hear and adjudicate disputed claims if the injury date is on or after July the 1st, 2014. Our recent rule changes include allowing parties to raise issues not certified by the mediator and permitting non-parties to attend mediation at the mediator's discretion. Attorneys must now use the Bureau's electronic filing system, while self-represented parties retain other options. Additional updates are grant judges more discretion on hearings, remove rigid scheduling deadlines, clarify medical record submission timelines, and standardize brief formatting. The rules also strengthen compliance and clarity, including ombudsman protections, interpreter requirements for employers denying employment, and clearer settlement and appeal procedures. We would appreciate a favorable recommendation, and we stand ready to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you for that presentation. Members, do we have any questions for our panel? Seeing none. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none. All right, members, looks like we're ready to vote. Well, we've got a positive recommendation. We have a second, and we are ready to vote in the Senate, Mr. Clerk.
Senators Bowling, Senator Crowe, Senator Hatcher. Senator Hatcher votes aye. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle. Senator Kyle votes aye. Senator Oliver. Senator Rose. Senator Rose votes aye. Senator Seal. Senator Seal votes aye. Senator Sutherland. Chairman Jackson. Chairman Jackson votes aye. You have 5 ayes, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for that. Members to the House, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Your rule moves out with positive recommendation. Thank you all. Thank you all to everybody that stuck around with us today and helped us get through this. Everybody safe travels and have a good weekend. We motion to adjourn. We're adjourned. Thank you. Excellent. Really good.